Imagine convincing the entire world you care about player safety just so you can quietly pocket $250 million while nobody is looking. It's brilliant, it's ruthless, and it's happening right now, disguised as an innocent plastic water bottle. We're ripping the lid off the so-called mandatory hydration break to show you exactly how the most lucrative corporate heist in sports history was pulled off. We're going to follow the cash, expose the loopholes, and reveal exactly who is getting rich while the game you love grinds to a dead stop. So let's break down the actual crime scene here. Twice, during every single match, specifically at the 22nd minute and then again at the 67th minute, the whistle blows. The clock keeps ticking, but the actual football completely stops. Now sure, in the past, a referee could pause a game if the heat was genuinely dangerous. That makes sense. But this new rule, it's absolute. It is hard-coded into the schedule, completely ignoring what the weather is actually doing. I mean, we are literally forcing players to stand around and drink water inside perfectly air-conditioned, climate-controlled stadiums in cities like Vancouver and Atlanta. It makes absolutely no sense. And honestly, the people in the stands saw right through the charade from day one. Fans are absolutely dragging this rule online. They've started using AI to pump out these incredibly funny, hyper-specific satirical videos to mock the whole concept. You'll see clips of the England squad having a literal tea party on the pitch, the US men's team firing up a full-blown barbecue grill in the middle of a game, Japanese players sitting down for a nice sushi dinner. It's hilarious, but it perfectly captures this massive, bubbling anger over a totally fake interruption. But it goes way deeper than just some funny memes on your timeline. It's a verified backlash. A massive survey by The Athletic asks thousands of fans what they thought, and the results were a bloodbath. Over 76% of fans absolutely despise this rule. And you really don't even need a survey to tell you that. Just turn up the volume on your TV. The literal second that whistle blows for a water break, you can hear the atmosphere die, instantly replaced by deafening boos echoing around the stadium. The fans know they're being scammed. And guess what? The guys actually down there on the pitch are catching on too. Take Canadian defender Alistair Johnston. He completely bypassed the whole player welfare PR spin and just called it exactly what it is. His exact words? The hydration break turned into a commercial break. I mean, wow. It's a painfully cynical observation, but he's totally right. He knows his own physical exhaustion is basically just being used as a cue to cut away and sell you trucks. He's definitely not the only one annoyed by this. Virgil van Dijk, the towering Dutch captain, was pretty blunt about it. He openly complained that chopping up the game for commercials ruins the flow for anyone watching, saying it's not really that I like it. And then look at Belgium's Yuri Tielemans. He highlighted the ridiculous corner the organizers backed themselves into. Because they demand complete uniformity across the board, they are legally forced to stop these matches even if it's freezing outside. If they skip it, someone will complain about an unfair advantage. So everybody gets to stand around shivering just to keep the TV executives happy. Which brings us to part 1 of our explainer, the secret tactical timeout. So the fans are booing, the players are annoyed, but there is one group secretly rubbing their hands together on the sidelines. The managers. If you want to see the dark side of this rule in action, look at the absolute tragedy of the Curacao versus Germany match. Tiny Curacao is playing the game of their lives against a giant. At the 21st minute mark, they scored this miraculous equalizer. The stadium is losing its mind. Germany is visibly rattled. Then, tick-tock, the 22nd minute hits. Mandatory water break. That little whistle completely killed Curaçao's momentum and handed German coach Julian Nagelsmann a free timeout. He pulled his panicked squad over, completely decoded Curaçao's setup, gave them a new game plan, and sent them back out. Germany ended up slaughtering them 7-1. The magic was just gone. And that wasn't a one-off. Elite coaches have totally hijacked this rule. They've essentially taken a free-flowing game and chopped it up into an Americanized stop-and-start sport. Didier Deschamps from France basically bragged about it, saying it's 4 quarter times we've got. Mauricio Pochettino literally brought a laptop out to the dugout so he could run video review with his players in the middle of a half. And Carlo Ancelotti, he openly admits he uses the time to completely rework his tactics. This has absolutely zero to do with hydration. It's a built-in cheat code for the smartest tacticians on earth. Now for part 2, the medical irony. Let's circle back to the official excuse for this rule. Player safety, protecting athletes from extreme heat. But the second you talk to actual sports physiologists, the people whose entire job is keeping players alive, the whole story falls apart. These medical experts actually do want breaks, but they look at this 3-minute timer and just shake their heads. They'll tell you straight up that 3 minutes is scientifically nowhere near enough time to drop a player's core body temperature safely. They are demanding a minimum of 5, ideally 6 minutes. So the very doctors that the executives are using as a shield to justify this whole thing are on record saying the current rule is dangerously short. It's long enough to ruin the game's momentum, but way too short to actually protect anybody.
And that leads us to the real motive, part 3, following the money.
If the doctors say it doesn't work and the players and fans hate it, why is it mandatory for every single match? Well, let's follow the cash. Are you ready for this? $200,000 to $750,000. That is exactly what a single 30-second commercial slot goes for during a US broadcast. When you suddenly force a pause in the middle of a game with a massive captive audience staring at their screens, that dead air magically transforms into some of the most expensive digital real estate in the world. Now, do the math on that. 2 mandatory pauses per game. Across more than 100 matches, just in the US market alone, these so-called hydration breaks are projected to rake in over $250 million in brand new ad revenue. Let that sink in. $250 million. Suddenly, it makes a whole lot of sense why they're forcing players to drink water inside an air-conditioned dome, doesn't it? They have quite literally invented 10 extra hours of premium commercial time out of thin air, and the broadcasters are just eating it up. They are so greedy to squeeze every last cent out of these breaks that it's actually interfering with the sport itself. During the Mexico versus South Africa match, Fox was pushing ads so hard they actually missed the game restarting. The ref blew the whistle, the ball was in play, and millions of viewers were sitting there staring at a car commercial. It's unbelievable. But here is the ultimate smoke-in gun that proves this is a hustle. Broadcasters will tell you, oh, we're just following the rules, the game stopped. Okay, then look at this comparison. Look at Telemundo or the BBC or ITV. When that whistle blows, they do not cut away. They keep their cameras locked right on the pitch. You see the exhausted players panting. You see the managers plotting. They treat it like the live event it is. So the networks that are cutting away to full-screen commercials, that is a deliberate, incredibly profitable choice. It was never a broadcast mandate. It is pure, unadulterated monetization. And that is the true insidious genius of this entire operation. It thrives on the chaos it creates. Think about it. The fans are busy screaming about the flow of the game, coaches are yelling about unfair tactical advantages, doctors are waving red flags about body temperatures, and while everybody is distracted, pointing fingers at each other, the networks are just sitting back, holding a water bottle in one hand, and quietly cashing a $250 million check with the other. So I've got to ask you, is this just the modern evolution of the sport, or is it literally the greatest corporate heist in sports history? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you want more deep dives that follow the money to the truth, make sure to subscribe to The Explainer.